Good morning everyone and welcome to another balloon tutorial video. It's been a long time actually since I've picked up my balloons and done some balloon twisting, and I thought actually it would be good to get back to basics and do a video that explains the basics of balloon twisting and what you maybe need to get started, what you need to consider, and all the possible options out there. Now, the standard sort of balloons that you will need often come in a size that looks like this. Now, this is classed as a 260, and I'll talk a little bit more about the size of balloons in a moment. It is important for these types of balloons, particularly if you're not used to inflating balloons, that you use a pump. Okay, so we'll come back to the balloons in a minute and we'll talk about pumps. Now, you can go to Tesco or wherever and purchase a balloon pump, and sometimes they're okay. This is a really cheap one. It does the job, but it's not brilliant. You then want to maybe start looking at different versions of balloon pumps that you can get different qualities, and my suggestion would be that you get one that's got a double action pump. So that means it pumps air into the balloon that way and that way. Okay, and for me, the balloon pump that I use is this one, which you can see there on the side. It's a Qualitex balloon pump. It's an excellent value really. It's robust, and again it's got that double inflate, and it pretty much puts the same amount of air in that way as it does that way, which is really good for doing certain balloon models, because you know what air you're putting into the balloon. And then this smaller pump, same brand again, it's Qualitex. Don't know if you can see that on the side. And this has a double action as well, but it's for the thinner balloons. So this is the regular 260, and this one is a thinner 160. And again, I'll explain those terms in a moment. So you sometimes need a smaller pump for the smaller balloons. So 260, which is the size that you'll find most often in most balloon twisting, means 2 inches wide and 60 inches long when it's inflated, when it's fully inflated. So if I was to stick this on the balloon pump now and inflate it all the way to the end, there, that will be approximately 60 inches long and 2 inches wide. Okay, and now my fingers are fairly fat fingers, so you can see they're approximately 2 finger width, which is your 2 inches. So there's one balloon. That's a 260. We'll come back to that in a moment. The 160 therefore means 1 inch wide and 60 inches long. Okay, I won't inflate this one all the way, and I'll explain why in a moment. But I'll just give it a bit of an inflate. Sometimes they inflate slightly curled, but you can see the difference between them. Okay, one's a lot thinner than the other. Okay, half as thin. We also have a slightly larger, which is a 350. Now in the slightly larger, in the Qualitex brand, which is the brand I use, it's 3 inches wide, and so that's the 260, the original 260. That's the 350, and 50 inches long. Okay, you do get a different brand of balloon, which you can get in a 60 inches long if you need it, but that's the difference. And then you also can go a little bit bigger, which is this one, and that's a 6 inch wide. So there's the 3 inch wide, so it's double, 6, 4, 6 these are. So 6 inches wide, 4 to 6 inches in length. They're big balloons, and once you start working with these, it can be quite hard on your fingers. You need quite strong fingers to work with. So there are main sizes of balloon. And again, the brand I use is a brand called Qualitex. So you can see the word latex in there. They are latex balloons, and supposedly these biodegrade at the same rate as an oak leaf, given the same conditions. so they are a natural substance. You also get within the balloons, you get obviously the standard shaped balloons. Now these are called 11-inch round balloons. And we all know that when we inflate balloons, and we keep inflating them, that they go into the net and they don't look round anymore. They sort of develop a more oval appearance. Generally, when we're working with balloons for twisting purposes and decor purposes, we go for them being more round. And so you will never fully, or rarely fully, inflate the balloons. So I'm just going to tie that one off as a round there, and then we'll discuss. So that would be an 11-inch round. In other words, you can get an 11-inch round circle out of it. Here's a 5-inch round, and again, I've not fully inflated this. And generally speaking, I use these for things like eyes. And what you can do when you don't fully inflate them, you have the ability to split them. So you can actually, because they're quite soft and malleable, you can turn one into two. So you can then see how that's a pair of eyes. Okay, really useful. You also get a load of other shapes as well. So you get these ones that create a flower shape. These are called geos. You get ones that are heart shaped. You get ones with faces on. So when they're inflated, they look like faces. Ones with stars on, spots, stripes, zebra stripes, leopard prints. You also get these things. These are fantastic balloons. Okay, they're called B bodies or 321 Qs. So again, 3 inches wide, 21 inches long, and they've got this little funny tip on the end. Okay, which is where you get the B body bit from, because when you inflate them, depending on how you do it, you get a sort of thing. They're great for witches' noses and all sorts. Okay, but they create ghosts when they're in white. So you see them that way up, and they could look a bit like ghosts. Really useful balloons to have in your stock. Now, in terms of twisting them, the very, very basics, I would inflate, and I actually, my job is a teacher. I don't do this as a job, this is just a hobby. Okay, but when I've tied off my balloon, usually when you're twisting, you will leave some uninflated. And the reason for that is that you start twisting at the knot end, and as you twist, it pushes the air into here, because obviously making a twist, you are squeezing, I suppose, some of that balloon together and forcing more up here. So the more twists we do, the less tail we would end up with as the air gets pushed further and further. So we can see we've got less tail already. If I were to have that very little tail, it would just pop. It would pop instantly on me. Okay, so we don't do that. We try not to. Those are standard twists that we've got there, and there are a number of different ways to do this. And I think in a future video I will cover different types of twist. Again, partly for my own benefit to remind me, but partly to help you out as well. So there's the basic balloons. There are more sort of specialist balloons like these, which are called quick links. And when you inflate them, you end up with a nozzle here and a bit there that you can tie both ends together. And it's really rather useful for creating different sculptures. So you can see there a smaller version, that's the 5-inch, that's the 11-inch. And you can see how when it's tied off, you've got 2 attachment points. So that can be really useful for creating all sorts of different models. So have a go. Buy a simple bag of balloons. You can buy a Qualitex bag of balloons, 100 balloons in a variety of colours. Buy a pump, and I suggest you get a decent quality pump, and practice. Watch YouTube videos. There's tons out there. I watched Holly Hopper a lot when I first started, and I joined Balloon Chat, which is a forum online, which is great for learning and picking up tutorials as well, run by Graham Lee. Have fun, enjoy, and I will see you again for another tutorial where we'll discuss different twists. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.